This is Love 101.
Listeners to Love 101 FM are advised that the views and opinions expressed in this program are not necessarily those of Love 101 FM.
Hello and welcome to the Morning Watch on Love 101 FM. I'm your host, Dylan Toussaint. A special welcome to our listeners on love101.org, and if you're overseas and on the move, US listeners can access us at 712-832-8001. And if you're in the UK, 0330-332-6541, or join us via the Love 101 FM app that can be downloaded from the Google Play Store or the Apple Store. You can also join us on Love 101 FM Facebook and YouTube Live. In the first watch today, evaluating the Cash for Guns initiative. And in the second watch, spotlight on Jamaica's foster care program. Our social media question we ask, what are your thoughts on the Cash for Guns initiative? Please share your responses on our Love 101 FM Facebook page and YouTube channel. And also on WhatsApp 876-997-3125 using the hashtag The Morning Watch. We'll share your responses later on in the program, but before all of that, here's I quote.
All right, many of life's failures are people who did not realize how close they were to success when they gave up. Thomas Edison.
Good morning, Roshane.
Good morning, Dr. Toussaint. How are you doing? I saw you at the church service on Sunday,
You did?
Yeah, but I didn't get a chance to come over because I heard the pastor mention, that you guys are neighbors and you normally come over to speak and stuff. I was actually there and thing.
Yes. So like you're there. How was yesterday, the anniversary of Love FM?
Well, it was actually good, and we give God thanks for, allowing us to see 29 years, and we're going on to 30 years. So we start counting as of today.
Yeah. You reached 29 yet, Roshane?
Yeah, man, we're past someone. Yeah, man. I think I'm 4 years.
No. I don't want you to stay to age. I just want to know if you reached it.
No, man, that's fine.
All right. Okay. The first watch will be back after this break.
All right. This is Love 101 FM, the family station. You're inside the Morning Watch. The Morning Watch this morning is brought to you by Home and Things, your construction finishes superstore. This is the family station, Love 101.
The February 5-off-50 sales event at Home and Things is here. Take $5 off every $50 you spend. Save big on the brands you know and trust, from beautiful Spanish and Brazilian tiles to exquisite bathroom fixtures and faucets from Corona, Moen, and other top brands. Check out stylish doors, windows, paints, and home decor that inspire beauty and elegance. It's the February 5-off-50 sales event happening now. Old Hope Road and Constant Spring Road.
Family station, Love 101. Stay tuned, my friends. I know that God has something great in store for you.
Join Roshane Douglas in Love in the Morning every Monday to Thursday, 5 a.m. to 10 a.m. on the family station Love 101.
You are sure to be blessed, de-stressed, and forget all the mess and cares of the day when you tune in to Love in the Morning with Roshane Douglas.
He's got a word to keep you going through the day. Yes, start your day the right way with Roshane Douglas, with music to calm you,
news to keep you informed, and a word to guide you.
Child, I know you're gonna dig this.
Love in the Morning.
New dawning has begun.
Love in the Morning with Roshane Douglas, Monday to Thursday,
5 a.m. to 10 a.m. right here on the family station Love 101.
can tell you about Shorty. Short term motor insurance from JNGI. Shorty. You choose what you need. 30, 60, 90 days policy. No long commitment, full third party. Don't park your car, don't walk, get a shorty. So affordable and it's not per nation market. JNGI Shorty. Country party, we have a shorty. Just ensure your vehicle has started. Roll out with a shorty. Shorty, the short-term motor insurance from JN General Insurance. Available only online.
Massing Group will be 100 years. And that's significant. We've survived all sorts of wild, crazy things that have happened. It's really thriving.
People don't just buy a product, right? They buy how you make them feel and whether your values align to theirs.
Massey differentiates ourselves because we believe that when we are all successful, the region is going to be more successful.
Learn more at barita.com/Massey.
You work hard to make Jamaica a first-class destination. Isn't it time you receive the 5-star benefits? Retire smarter with the Tourism Workers Pension Scheme, a portable plan that also provides your family with financial security in case of your untimely death. It's easy, affordable, and accessible online. Retire and relax with the Tourism Workers Pension Scheme. Visit twps.myguardiangroup.com or call 876-927-4105. Guardian Life. Live secure. Live easy.
I just want to say thank you. Really want to thank you, Lord.
Love 101, number one in gospel for 29 years.
If it had not been for the Lord on my side.
In Him we live, in Him we move, in Him we have our being.
Thank you, Father God, for your guiding hand and keeping care.
Thank you, Jehovah God,
for 29 years of ministry to Jamaica and the world.
Love 101 FM.
Number one in gospel radio in Jamaica.
Number 4 out of over 30 radio stations in Jamaica.
To God be all the glory.
In Him, we are on the move.
Yes, welcome back to the Morning Watch. I'm your host, Dylan Toussaint. Now, the fight against crime is supposed to see some real gains with the Cash for Guns initiative. Prime Minister Andrew Holness said, and I quote, "The elements of the plan include new legislation and an incentivized multi-million-dollar fund with a target of $250 million that will significantly increase the reward for information leading to the recovery of illegal firearms," end of quote. But we're asking this morning, is this initiative really worth all it's being touted to be? Well, to help us answer this and other related questions, we have online Mr. Richie Dickey Crawford, social and political commentator, and Dr. Jason Mackay, criminologist, CEO of Mackay Security. Good morning to you both.
Good morning, sir. Good morning. Good morning, everyone, and to your listeners.
Thank you, Mr. Crawford. Dr. Mackay, are you with us? All right. Dr. Mackay, not hearing him at all. All right. We hope to be joined by Dr. Mackay soon. Morning again, Mr. Crawford.
Yes.
Yeah, long time no hear. How are you doing?
Well, like everybody else, I'm in a quandary.
Yeah. We all have to go through and navigate this.
I'm looking around at my country and asking what is really happening.
Yeah. Well, that's why we're here to talk about the issues,
Yes.
and one of the suggestions that have been posited to try and to see if we can change this trajectory. But before we even go there, what is your understanding, Mr. Crawford, of the so-called "Get Every Illegal Guns" campaign? What really is this modus operandi, as you understand it? Because there are many views out there.
Well, it's something that has been tried in Jamaica before.
Right.
It has not worked.
Has not worked.
No, it really did not work.
Oh.
And at the present time, it's more somewhere. It's a strategy that tends to bring you fair amount of publicity, and it's a reading of the society that because we are so broke, we will do anything to get some money. But there's also the other side of the coin, which in Jamaica at this point in time, first of all, you're not going to find people, despite the $250 million, people are not going to commit suicide by giving information to the authorities. This has happened. This is one of the real greatest problems in Jamaica. People cannot safely tell the police what you know, because before the guns, that was the slogan, tell us what you know, tell the police what you know. The people don't do that. How can you do that? Because by the time you do that, the next day you're dead. And therefore, this is a real problem. It's not a public relations exercise. And the other thing that really puzzles me, and I'm very concerned about, I saw the actual brand new AK-47 that the commissioner used in his presentation. It is unbelievable. Why do we wait until the guns, so to speak, get into Jamaica, and we do not take the steps to stop it from coming into Jamaica, particularly when you tell me that you have a working relationship with the United States of America, who has told you that they will do everything to help you. And if we are very frank about it, I think most of the guns do end up coming from the United States of America. It is bizarre, really. So what the commissioner and previous commissioners, certainly I won't say this one, but I know of previous commissioners, for sure, they know who the gun traffickers are, They know who these people are. They know where the guns are coming from. There's a famous photograph of a former commissioner of police and his team that went to a neighboring country and saw and met the people who have the guns and are in charge of shipping. I noticed that commissioner left the job very shortly after that. But it's not that we don't know. We know, but we're doing nothing about the source of the problem and thinking that the money at this point in time, and this is as a result of the fact that almost unbelievable, but we're talking about, and we're being influenced by the fact, and it is correct, it is dangerous. 112 people died or were killed in 23 days in Jamaica. That's an average of 5 people a day being murdered, being shot. What on earth are we talking about, sir? Something is deeper than in the society, much deeper than just offering the money. I mean, I would think that if you offer money, it would work, but no, there isn't any automatic and happy take up of that thing. I don't know if you have any information so far that says that people are cooperating and are telling about these guns and where they are. But we know, and we know the security forces know the people and the houses and the communities where these guns are stored.
Yeah.
We don't need to call the names at this time, but there are high-level, multi-million-dollar properties in Jamaica where the guns are stored.
Tell you what, Mr. Crawford, could you hold that thought? We're up on a break. We'll be right back.
Chunky, spicy, and delicious. Lasco mackerel. Get hooked on the tastiest mackerel around. The time by Lasco mackerel is
7:15 right here on Love 101.
There are a million reasons to want to own a home.
I want more space for the children.
I am tired of paying rent. My wife and I want an investment. Go from future plans to keys in hand with an NCB mortgage. Get rates as low as 6.95%, 100% financing, and up to 40 years to repay. Plus, get the life insurance and home insurance you need all in one place. Visit myhome.jncb.com to get started. Conditions apply.
Massey Group will be 100 years, and that's significant. We've survived all sorts of wild, crazy things that have happened. It's really thriving.
People don't just buy a product, right? They buy how you make them feel and whether your values align to theirs.
Massey differentiates ourselves because we believe that when we are all successful, the region is going to be more successful.
Learn more at burrito.com/Massey.
Every day I get bigger, every day I get better. I'm a star and I shimmer. Watch me grow, I'm a winner, yeah. Every step that I take, oh yeah. Feeling great cause I'm learning, yeah. I'm a star and I shimmer. Watch me grow, I'm a winner, yeah. La 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 la. Watch me grow with Alexa Plus.
Help support their mental development at this important stage with a unique combination of nutrients from Lacta Plus. This product is not intended to be a substitute for breast milk.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. Thanks for staying with us. I'm your host, Dylan Toussaint, and in this, the first watch, we are now in the second half of the first watch, and we are examining the Cash for Guns initiative. And we have online so far Mr. Dickie Crawford, social commentator. Before the break, Mr. Crawford, you were expressing your views on the initiative. Doesn't sound as if you are so positive about its prospects.
No, I'm not, because as I said, I've lived through this before in Jamaica. And in addition to that, I'm very worried about the capacity that we have to sort out problems like this. You know, parallel to the gun, the money for guns, or to try and capture the guns, is because we're not successful in deterring them, in exposing it at the wharves or wherever when it is shipped here. And you see the same thing in the amount of operations that the criminal operations that take place in Jamaica, which are not being addressed either.
Yes.
We're talking about the lot of scam. We're talking about some serious kind of smuggling and all those kinds of activities. You must put that into the mix, you know. We're somewhere along the line. We are not managing our country.
Well, Mr. Crawford, wouldn't the police authorities argue that they have been having some success in recent times in getting firearms, and that their intelligence has been on top of things, that indeed persons have been giving them information and thus these recoveries of these firearms? What say you on that?
I think I've heard of the pronouncements that there's been an improvement. Yes, since there is this event and the publicity and the offering of the prizes for the guns being recovered. But I'm not so sure about the extent of it. But I know that they have said that there's been some improvement. The other place where I see, I don't want to use the word improvement, but where I see some activity taking place is in the nabbing of known wanted criminals. There have been quite a few shootouts, and the police have, for a change, been able to take into, either kill or take into custody some well-known criminals, dangerous people who have been out there for a long time. That's my view.
Right.
My view is that they know these things, but it's only when it becomes really bad that we spring into action. You're not going to solve the problem that way.
So you're saying this is a 9-day wonder?
So far, yeah. Well, as I said, I don't know who has the figures, who has the activity. I noticed Mr. Golden from one of the parties in the parliament is saying, well, let's measure the thing and see what happens within a 60-day period. Well, I really don't know. As I said, I'm aware of the fact of some arrests being made. I'm also aware of, must be yesterday, a very outstanding decision taken by the Chief Justice in a trial against one of the most prolific the gangs in Jamaica's history, and that they're going to be able to go ahead, I think, on to prosecution. That gives that's a little bit of hope there, because so many times people go to court for these charges and just walk out eventually on bail or freedom, and the crime rates continue. That's how serious the situation is in Jamaica.
Most certainly.
And unfortunately, we tend to ape so many things that happen in the United States of America. It's the same problems they're having over there to some extent, with guns and the focus on crime and so forth and so on. This so-called free enterprise situation that we have.
Solutions then, Mr. Crawford. Solutions. What pointed solutions? We have looked at the problem.
Yes.
And the difficulties. What are your suggestions? What are your solutions, recommendations going forward?
You're going to have to eventually get to the ultimate solution, which is that you have to change the political system.
Which will not happen overnight. Won't happen overnight. So in the interim,
it will virtually have to, and it can. But the point is that if you take that approach, it won't happen overnight. Nothing is going to happen overnight. There are no guns that's going to come in to flood the police stations overnight.
Right.
But the point is this, that this whole issue of violence in the society has long been here. I mean, I watched intently the commissioner when he made a statement when he was displaying that gun, and he said, "What do you expect? If we're killing 1,000 people a year in Jamaica, what do you expect?" He was sort of saying it to us. We're trying our best, so what do you expect? It's part of a correct statement that he has made. Since 1980, the murder rate in this country is one of the highest in the world. An average of 1,000 people per year. Now, what's the source of that? At least up to that period in time, that was a result of the tribal political system that we had in this country. And we still have it. But what has happened now, I think it has become even more dangerous and unmanageable because of the kind of money floating around the place. The people have so much guns and money on their own that they don't need to rely on the politicians for instructions or to do this or to do that, or they don't need to shoot somebody because they belong to another party or something like that. It's just absolute mayhem.
So when you say change,
they say they're going back to Vale to talk again. I've heard it so many times. I'm tired of it. But nothing short of a total cleansing of the political system.
Meaning what? Meaning what, Mr. Crawford? In specific terms, what does that mean?
You're going to have the most serious and profound measures of accountability. People cannot operate the way we operate in Jamaica and expect anything good to happen. You know, if you compare it, just go on the television at night and watch it. I watch the demonstration, the people in other countries that have problems. Not only Jamaica has problems, but the politicians cannot throw it around the place and be aloof to it. Look at Boris Smith, who's the head of the British Parliament. I mean, the people are forcing him to resign. There's a lady who went up to Macron in France and slapped him in his face.
Well, that shouldn't happen still.
That couldn't happen here.
Exactly. That's violent behavior.
I'm not supporting violent behavior. I'm
Right.
saying it is the fact that the publicity, the public are not in the situation that we are in Jamaica. I don't even know if the truck boycott has stopped in Canada. But look at that. The whole country has been shut down. The economy is suffering. In other words, politicians are accountable. And I'm glad I touched on Canada, because in Canada, for example, if you bribe a voter in an election and you are discovered, you will never be able to run in another election. That don't happen in countries like Jamaica. When you ask me, what are the things that have to be done? You can't buy votes. You can't pay people money to vote for you. You can't give them money to do certain things and expect that you're going to have a good political system. There's no way. The leaders are the political people. If they are not leading, then come out and let somebody else do the job.
You seem to be squarely casting the blame, at least in more ways than one, at the feet of the politicians.
Yeah,
that's what I'm picking up. What about the citizens of the land?
The citizens?
Yes.
But okay. What do we do about the citizens of the land? There's an element that is orchestrated, managed by the political leadership and by the political parties. And that in itself creates a problem where, and it's a sad, you raise a good point, it's a very sad situation in Jamaica where people who should have responsibility, who have the responsibility or should have it and should come out and make a difference. You find that you have a lot of people in Jamaica who are not in the slightest bit interested. And that unfortunately refers mostly to our widespread intellectual and middle class people in Jamaica. They have no interest, they're not taking part. And because I know them too, there's very simple reason why they're not, is because of the violence in the country and the futility of doing that. They are all afraid themselves. You can't blame them. But at least these people can put up 12-foot walls and zinc fence and barbed wire fence to try and protect themselves in their houses. The very police is telling us now that is where it has reached. That the criminals with their guns have gone uptown. They have been uptown for some time. So therefore, we have to run a very open and government that is liable and responsible for their actions and activities, measured in the other index, which is so sad too. Jamaica is recognized now as one of the most corrupt systems in the world, political systems. How else am I going to address this problem? This is what international survey after international survey has produced for us. Those are the facts. And we're trying to escape it sometimes by pretending to pass some new laws or to say, oh, we need more social intervention. How can that happen? I was around in 1980, right? When this thing reached the level that it has.
You have half a minute, Mr. Crawford. Half a minute.
Yeah, and I'm just saying that is where the whole system of the accent from the political parties, where it is divide and rule and fight and kill for political power. If you can't change that, you're not going to overcome the problems in Jamaica. You're not going to have a country that is productive and a peaceful place to live in.
We have to leave it there. In the meantime, we're encouraging people as best as possible to do what they can, give the information so we can help to get the guns off the streets. Thank you very much for your time and thoughts, Mr. Crawford.
No problem. Okay.
Have a productive day. Listeners, the Morning Watch will return in just a moment.
Now with no processing fees and no down payment, it's time to open the door to your own sweet home. The time by JN Bank is...
It is 7:31 right here in Love 101, the family station.
Jamaica and its workforce are advancing quickly. Life-changing opportunities are arising. You need training and support. We are the Renewed Heart NSTA Trust, committed to providing new and emerging skills training and opportunities. Come to Heart. We'll help you claim your place in the workforce of the future.
The February 5 off 50 sales event at Home and Things is here. Take $5 off every $50 you spend. Save big on the brands you know and trust, from beautiful Spanish and Brazilian tiles to exquisite bathroom fixtures and faucets from Corona, Moen, and other top brands. Check out stylish doors, windows, paints, and home decor that inspire beauty and elegance. It's the February 5 off 50 sales event happening now. Old Hope Road and Constant Spring Road.
From generation to generation, Jamaicans have depended on J&B Bank to make the pride and joy of providing a safe place for their families possible. Now, with no processing fees and no down payment mortgage options, you can open the door to your own sweet home, a legacy to hand to your next generation. Visit jnbank.com to get pre-approved today. J&B Bank will help you find a way.
Thank you. Really wanna thank you, Lord. Love 101, number one in gospel for 29 years.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. Thanks for staying with us. I'm your host, Dylan Toussaint. Let's take a look at the newspapers to see what Jamaicans and others are saying and doing in the Gleaner. Stewart threatens lawsuit after backlash. We also see why, Javid, why? Teachers, peers reeling in shock after students' tragic death. Also in the Gleaner, Parliament scrambles to get lift operable for wheelchair users, I'll say. And then in the Observer, I feel like jumping. Floyd Morris advocates celebrate Disabilities Act. And then scrap it. JTA wants government to remove PEP performance tasks for 2022. And then finally in the Observer, Third World receives keys to the city of Hollywood, Florida. Interesting stories there and developments in our newspapers. Well, coming up next, we'll read some of the feedback from our Facebook and WhatsApp question. What are your thoughts on the Cash for Guns initiative? Please share your responses on our Facebook page, Love 101 FM, and also whether by text or voice note to WhatsApp 876-997-3125 using the hashtag The Morning Watch. We'll be right back.
He knows my name.
Here is your opportunity to connect with someone who will listen, pray, and give guidance. It's the telephone counseling ministry of the Edgewater Baptist Church. Please call 876-220-6474. Weekdays between 8 a.m. and 9 p.m. and Sundays between 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. Please talk to someone if you're finding it particularly challenging to cope during this period of global crisis. Someone is waiting for your call. Please reach out today. 876-220-6474. It's the telephone counseling ministry of the Edgewater Baptist Church.
This is a reminder that somebody cares. Endorsed by Love 101.
He knows my name.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. I'm your host, Dylan Toussaint. Let's now join Roisin for a look at how our Facebook and WhatsApp friends answered today's question. What
All
are your
right.
thoughts on the Cash for Guns initiative? Roisin.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Toussaint. All right. So this one from Cherry from Spanish Town, she's saying, cash for guns. And no, too much corruption. You're dead before you even get the money. One solution is to stop the guns from entering our shores. Another one here from Marva over there in Anatobe. She's saying, okay, I think if money is out of there, these men will training their old retired guns the long time. Oh, they will trade in. Or basically, I think she's saying trade
Yeah.
in their old retirement guns,
To get new ones.
get
Yeah.
new ones in the
Yes.
swing, and just to get the money. These types of guns that will not find them. So basically what she's saying, the new ones, you will not find the new ones. They will
Right.
probably trade out the old ones. They'll probably give some information to get the money for the
And collect the money and buy some new
new
ones.
ones. Yeah. So that's what
Yes.
she's basically saying. Yeah.
Okay.
That's basically it.
Okay, thank you very much, Roisin. And we want to thank those who responded. Frightening in some ways. You're dead before you get the money, said the first responder. I hope that's not the case. Well, as we now transition into the second watch, we note that every child should have a home and a family. And the CPFSA agrees. And so this week is the annual National Foster Care Week, and the theme in its 16th year is fostering love. Every child needs a family. Fostering love. Every child needs a family. And so in this, the second watch, we are turning the spotlight on Jamaica's foster care program. And in so doing, we have joining us Mrs. Simone Case, Foster Care Officer, Northeast Region of CPFSA, and Ms. Neela Campbell, Foster Parent. Good morning to you both.
Good morning.
Good morning.
All right, good to have you both with us. All right, I'm seeing Mrs. Case, and I guess Ms. Campbell is on the telephone. Good to have you both with us. I hope you're doing well.
Thank you so much. It's a beautiful day, and I'm well.
Great. All right, let me begin with you, Mrs. Case.
Oh, yes.
Some basic questions I'm starting with. What really is foster care? How is it different from adoption? And what is the process towards becoming a foster parent?
Thank you. So, foster care is a process where children in our nation who are considered wards of the state are given the opportunity to live with an approved family, a suitable family who is not their biological family. And just to backtrack a little, we understand that in our society, children are affected by abuse of all of its, in all of its forms. Children sometimes are orphaned, or for whatever reason, sometimes biological parents are not able to care for children. So the agency, on behalf of the state, acts as the guardian, and we provide for children as a family should. However, it is our belief that children belong in a family environment as opposed to an institution. This is why the foster care program is so essential, so important to us as an agency. Now, you asked what's the difference between foster care and adoption, and that's a very important question. So foster care by its nature is temporary. It is a legal process just like adoption because it involves the court. However, the difference is that with adoption, that legal process ends with the parental rights of the parents, the biological parents, being transferred to the adopters. And very importantly, that in adoption, the outcome is permanent and it's irreversible. So that's the difference between foster care and adoption. I can say a little bit more on foster care if you'd allow me. So foster care can be long-term can be short term.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you some more about that. All
All
right,
right.
so children, our view as an agency, if a child comes into our care, reintegrating that child with his or her biological family is what we work towards, right? If a child comes to the agency's attention and we're going through the investigation period and so on, the child is before the family court or the children's court, then foster care in that sense might be short term, in the sense that the foster family is providing temporary care for the child, short term. A child who's a ward of the state and, permanently placed in our care through a fit person order from the court may live with this family until this child gains independence, becomes an adult.
Yes.
And there's another aspect to foster care. In some instances, the child's biological family or biological parents are not available, but there is an aunt, there are relatives who are willing and who would qualify to participate in our kinship foster care. So it also is open to family members who would want to care for their child in a foster care arrangement.
Okay. I'm going to ask you more on that soon. But I want to hear Miss Campbell's voice before the break. Miss Campbell still there?
Yes, I'm still here.
Good. As a foster parent, what prompted, influenced, or encouraged you to become a foster parent?
Since I was a little girl, around 10, I kept seeing an advertisement on TV about helping children in Africa. And I said to my mommy that, why are people having so many kids and there are other kids who need help? You could help them. You could take them, you could adopt. And since then, I've always had it in my mind that I'd want to foster or adopt a child when I become an adult. And I was given the opportunity and I took it. And I'm glad that the CPSFA had actually vetted me and chose me as one of their foster parents. I'm very happy. It has been a life-changing experience. And
so the influence and the promptings came from your at age 10?
Yeah, around that age. I kept seeing this this white person talking about for only $1 you can feed Nabunge or something like that.
Yeah, US dollar.
One of those advertisements.
Yeah.
US ads.
Tell us about the process for you, Miss Campbell. How was that? Do you remember what you had to do?
I remember interacting with the social worker. I work at a hospital, and I interacted with a social worker. I expressed interest in possibly fostering someone, and they told me what I needed to do. They had an interview process. A form had to be filled out indicating whether or not I was fit physically, if I had any other issues, who was going to be my support, if I had any emotional support, because emotional support is very important in fostering a child.
Right.
It can be emotionally draining, and it can be a real, I want to say, culture shock. I don't think it's culture shock is the right term. But, that change of lifestyle now, with that additional life that you have to care for. And, they check your emotional readiness, your financial readiness. They also assist financially with caring for your child. And mostly they ask you to care for your child, the foster child, as if he or she were your own. That's one of the key points that they stress on, that, you have to ensure that the child feels comfortable and safe. And they, from their end, do so through their vetting process.
Okay.
So references are done and all of that.
Okay. All right. We're going to hold those thoughts. We are up on a break, ladies. We'll be right back.
The journey to building wealth starts with only a few clicks. Get great returns on your time when you sign up for a JN Fund Manager's investments account online. Visit www.jnfunds.com and follow our easy sign-up steps. No need to visit a JN Fund Manager's location. Do it all from your computer, tablet, or cell phone. It's completely online. Get it done anywhere, anytime, in quick time. Open an investment account online today. JN Fund Managers, your goals realized.
Massey Group will be 100 years. And that's significant. We've survived all sorts of wild, crazy things that have happened. It's really thriving.
People don't just buy a product, right? They buy how you make them feel and whether your values align to theirs.
Massey differentiates ourselves because we believe that when we are all successful, the region is going to be more successful.
Learn more at burrito.com/Massey.
Hey my peeps, get this on the regular. Your HIV status if you consider. At least if you test once a year. Just 15 minutes and your status clear. Cause it might not show up on your timeline and you learn too late so you're out of time. A progressive future, mandatory. Real long life, our story. You hear?
Remember, update your status in a real life. Go HIV test today.
Just 15 minutes and your status clear. Real long life, our story. Real long life for say youth. Coming from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. Thanks for staying with us. I'm your host, Dylan Toussaint. And in the second watch, we are putting the spotlight on Jamaica's foster care program. And we have online Mrs. Simone Case, foster care officer, and Miss Neela Campbell, foster parent. Welcome again to you both, ladies. Good to have you with us.
Thank you.
All right, Mrs. Case, before the break, we were talking about the process, the procedure. Can you tell us more about that? If somebody chooses to become a foster parent, what does he or she have to go through?
Certainly. So an interested person is required to be between the ages of 25 to 65. However, some exceptions can be made.
Oh.
Right. Also, as Ms. Campbell said earlier, individuals are required to complete an application form and to submit that to our office with 2 passport-sized photos that are to be notarized, along with 2 recommendation letters. So we need the application, 2 passport-sized pictures, 2 recommendation letters that can come from a minister of religion, justice of the peace, a senior police officer, school principal, for example. All right. Now, an interested person has to be willing to go through training into basic parenting skills and other aspects of child development. A home assessment, a thorough home assessment or home study has to be done as well. In addition to that, we ask for a police record, or we'll make checks with the local police to have an idea of this person's legal standing. All right. Then, having completed all the documents, this is submitted to our agency's placement committee. Well, at first it is assessed on a regional level to determine if this person meets the criteria to become an approved foster parent with the agency.
You mentioned 25 years to 65. What's behind that? Do you know? Why not younger? I mean, adults would start at 18.
Yeah, I think this stage would be considered one of responsibility, but I did say exceptions are, usually made, because you might find a 22-year-old who is responsible, accomplished, and can care for a child, as well as even a 67-year-old who is healthy and strong and can care for a child. So there are exceptions, and we look at cases on an individual basis at times.
Is there a requirement in regards to the family structure? Is it that it has to be a nuclear family? Or is it,
Right. Thank you for asking that. So couples can apply, single individuals can apply. However, as it relates to a single gentleman, we usually would consider placement if the child is related to this individual. Or, as I said, there might be exceptions, but that's the criteria. If the child is related to the individual or in exceptional circumstances.
Oh, so you can have a foster parent who is a male. That's in order, right?
It's in order if the child is related to the
So
male or in
why the
exceptional
exceptions?
circumstances.
Why the exceptions there? I mean, why not the same as for the female?
I think that might lead us into another discussion that you may have to engage us on another time, but that's our protocol for now.
Okay, I think I get your signal clear and loud. Okay, let me move on. Can you foster parent more than one child at a time?
Oh yes, I think we allow up to 4 foster children with a family. Yes, in one. Can we say one sitting? So a foster parent or foster family is able to foster up to 4 children.
Okay. Miss Campbell?
Yeah.
Right. Persons normally are concerned about who they are bringing into their homes because the foster, the child would not be your biological child. How did you navigate those concerns if you had them?
Honestly, I didn't really have those concerns.
You got to choose the child. You're able to look on the child and say, okay, I want A versus B. How was that done?
All right, my situation was a little bit different. I work in the healthcare setting, and we had a particular child who was ill and whose parents were not available at the time, or were not able to care for the child at that time. And I took special interest in him, and I, as I said, approached a social worker, and she directed me to the PTSD office, where I had interactions with personnel there, and I followed the regular protocol, got the training, had the interviews, and did all the paperwork necessary. They did their home visit. I put in place what suggestions they had made regarding safety of the child, and then he was moved into care once he was discharged from hospital care.
Okay. All right. Seems to have been pretty smooth for you. Mrs. Case, this is foster care week.
Yeah.
Sure you want to tell us about the activities for the week and all that's going on?
Sure. I don't know if I can add to what Miss Campbell said first, though. So usually in the application process, we ask persons to indicate their preference in terms of gender. If a child is identified, we try to facilitate weekend and holiday visits to somewhat build rapport, connection between the child and the prospective foster parent, so that the placement is likely to go well. So for the 16th staging of our Foster Care Awareness Week, some of the things we'll be doing this week, we will be going into communities and we will be conducting community outreach activities, spreading the word of foster care. We want to let persons know what it entails, and we want to invite persons to come on board and to provide a family for our children. We're also going into different church groups to worship and to bring the message to the family of God, because we do believe that foster care is something that is biblical. It is something that church people, Christians, can be and should be involved in as a form of ministry. All right, so we'll be doing community walkthroughs and drive-throughs. Like I said, we'll be meeting with organizations, we'll be setting up booths to get the message out there. But another purpose of our Foster Care Recognition Week is to acknowledge the good work of our parents. So we'll be having We'll be having award and appreciation ceremonies for them island-wide. Some might be virtual, some might be face-to-face. We'll continue with our training to build parenting capacity. And we are also emphasizing or highlighting the success of our foster care program in terms of the impact it has been having on our foster children, because that's important. That's an important testimony. And I want to share with you that each year we give recognition to our children who do well in CSEC and CAPE examinations. And this year in particular, we had 7 children who were extremely outstanding. And you'd be happy to know, sir, that 6 of those 7 children are from foster families. So that, yes. So that certainly, thank you so much. That certainly is evidence that children do well in the family environment. So we do need foster parents to come on board and to help us in that regard.
Great. People can bloom where they are planted, eh?
Absolutely.
Great. Miss Campbell, I'm taking it that you might have the final word. What advice would you give to parents, prospective parents out there, persons who are just interested, persons who just want to be encouraged? You tell us.
Honestly, it's not something that you jump into or take lightly. It's a very big decision, but don't be discouraged or don't be afraid. Kids are out there and they need care. They need our help, and the children are our future. And if we're not here to guide them, who will do it? From a Christian perspective, this is a part of stewardship. And if you are so led, something that you should pray about. And again, don't be afraid to try. You can contact the local offices, and you can find out what the process is, and get yourself vetted, get yourself, just to find out how you can be of assistance.
Okay. And Mrs. Case, what are those contact details that you want to share with us now?
Okay, so persons can visit our website, www.childprotection.gov.jm. Persons can also...
Could you repeat that, please? Could you repeat that, please?
Certainly. www.childprotection, all lowercase, no space, childprotection.gov.jm. Persons can also visit our social media pages, because that's the time we're living in now, right? And we are at CPFSA JM, at CPFSA JM. So visit us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. All right, but on our website, information is there. Forms are available. There are guidelines to help you to complete the forms. And our offices are located island-wide. Island-wide.
Okay. Yes.
In Kingston, we're at 40 Duke Street. So bear that in mind.
Okay. All right. Thank you very, very much, Mrs. Case and Ms. Campbell, for joining us this morning. Very informative. And we hope that you have a wonderful week, and that to top it all, we'll have more persons becoming foster parents.
Thank you so much, sir. Thanks for having us.
Bless you. Have a productive day.
Thank you.
Okay, listeners, we want to thank you all for joining us this morning as usual. And what we are saying is that for information how to get copies of this program, we're asking you to call our production department at 876-968-959627. This has been the Morning Watch. Thanks to our producer, Miss Kathy Gale, and our guests. I'm Dylan Toussaint, giving a shout out to the pastor and members of the Mona Baptist Church as I hand you back to Love in the Morning with Roshane Douglas.
Thank you, Dr. Toussaint.
Bless you, my brother.
Bless you. Have a wonderful day now.
You too.
It's a family station, Love 101. Do hope you are doing well. If you've just joined us, welcome. Stay tuned.